Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and while everything is, while crypto has been crashing and all, funny thing happened along the way. Gold is surging, $2,378. Check this out. Meanwhile, gold share in global international reserves held by central banks exceeded euro for the first time in history. Yellow metal now accounts for 17.6% of all worldwide reserves. Gold demand is rapidly rising. What's next for gold? That's why I hold gold. You can go to milesfranklin.com, by the way, my sponsor, and use code DAI gold. That's where I buy my physical gold, and that's the code that'll get you the best pricing. Check this out. On days like today in crypto, I always like to go and give the proper perspective. How does this make you feel? This is Bitcoin 2014 to 2017. And then this is 2022 to 2025, you know, using that same kind of arc. But these things that seem like massive, scary pullbacks, the world's coming to an end, they're blips on the radar screen. Here's another interesting graph. I've been here before, buckle up. 2012. If you look, there was always, I mean, I've been here through all of these. There was always these crashes and everything. It seems that the world has come to an end. Ryan Selkis is thanking Germany. That's a reference to Germany, if you remember. Germany is selling a bunch of their Bitcoin. I can't remember what the reason is, but they're selling a bunch of their Bitcoin. I think it's for some temporary reason. But anyway, the point is they're selling it, and he's thanking them because he's bought some Bitcoin. And then this guy says, while you are scared, someone just bought $184 million worth of Bitcoin from Coinbase. $184 million. Now, no better perspective than this. Remember what Brad Garlinghouse predicted for by end of 2024?
Really broadened out the market in terms of potential users, I think. And people wanted to get in on it, so they bought an ETF to do so. But you recently predicted that the crypto market will double in size to $5 trillion by the end of 2024. That is a big prediction just by the end of this year.
Yeah, I don't even feel like it's that big a prediction when you step back. And, you know, like any market, this is driven by supply and demand. You have decreasing supply for a whole bunch of reasons, the halving of Bitcoin being an important one. You have an increasing demand, the ETF being a key part of that. And I think it's also people realizing that crypto plays a role as an asset. You know, it's a $2.5 trillion market. Maybe it's a little less than that now. But so it's basically just predicting it's going to double by the end of the year. And if anything, I think I probably under-predicted that.
I feel like Washington is still trying to understand this market, and the people writing the legislation or potential legislation here to put barriers and around this market. I don't know that they really understand the strength and the growth story here. But you think putting regulation around this, putting barriers in place, is going to be a positive for this market?
There is no question. I mean, one of the headwinds that has held back the market, the largest economy in the world, the United States, has been one of the most problematic for the crypto market. Innovation, entrepreneurs, and capital have flown into markets that have actually constructively engaged this market. So Dubai, Singapore, even the UK, the EU has passed legislative progress here. The U.S. has really been behind the eight ball. This administration, I think, has taken a pretty anti-crypto stance, led by the SEC. Gary Gensler, as the chair, has really taken...
Because he doesn't understand it.
I think there's
maybe he doesn't, the people working for him.
Oh, he understands it. That's not the issue. Now, this is interesting. If you're feeling maximum fear right now, just listen to the chair of the Financial Stability Board at a recent ECB forum on central bank talking about global framework. It's all about regulations, folks.
I'll put that together with Klaus's remarks about crypto. I would be concerned that these stable coins could become a significant vehicle for international transfers. that would be really outside the domain, outside the control, outside the regulatory perimeter? And is that something that worries you?
Okay, let me pick up the question, Richard, you raised on cryptos and payments. Within the FSB, if we look at financial innovations, we always have this overarching frame that we want to harness the benefits while mitigating the risks. Now, if you apply that phrase to the crypto area, there is a legitimate question still out there. What actually are the benefits to society of a lot of the crypto asset, global stablecoin activities? If you take the three functions that we have of money, none of them currently satisfies these three roles of money. But at the same time, what we see is, of course, there is a strong investor demand for crypto assets. There is no global agreement to ban cryptos, let alone if there was an agreement whether we could actually operationalize such a ban. So the emphasis from the financial stability perspectives has come from, let's say, two things. First of all, to the extent that deficiencies in our traditional global cross-border payments world, where we're one of the sources of this crypto space to flourish, we should address these weaknesses. That's the reason why we have this global cross-border payments agenda, a G20 agenda, again, that you, together with Fabio Panetta from Banca d'Italia, that you coordinate within the FSB. And the other one is to try to come up with an as convincing as possible global framework of regulating crypto asset activities and global stablecoins. Regulating the well-known risks in this space like AML, CFT, like insufficient separation of funds, intransparent governance structures in these crypto conglomerates, etc. There is a host of very traditional investor protection issues that also play a role in this area, and that we have tried to capture as much as we can. Actually, Andrew has been leading this exercise within one of the standing committees of the Financial Stability Board to come up with a set of workable standards to mitigate this risk as much as possible. But then again, let me conclude by saying its effectiveness will depend entirely on the preparedness of individual jurisdictions to implement and to collectively also think about a regime, how to deal with non-cooperative jurisdictions. Because at the end of the day, I repeat myself, you can take your server under your arm to any place in the world where you can start up these activities. And that the jury is simply still out as to how effective we will be here.
Okay, now, I want you to see this. Ripple running trials with Nasdaq. I don't know where this came from.
And, this guy sells it to that guy. That's essentially, what the stock exchange does. So if you can have a common ledger to be able to exchange those IOUs at, then that certainly makes sense. And there's examples of Korean banks partnering with local, Bitcoin companies for the settlement. People like the IMF or World Bank or these kind of people are always talking about these sort of blockchain settlement systems. Nasdaq is involved in I think doing some trials with Ripple as well. So,
oh, you don't say. Now, we've talked a lot on this channel about the propaganda media. Elon Musk calls the legacy media just propaganda puppets. This guy's making a lot of sense here.
Did you guys see this clip, by the way? 6 minutes of 100 spokespeople and proxies, and they all had the same thing to say about President Biden, which is he is sharp as a tack.
Sharp as a tack?
Which end of the tack? The round part?
This is a man who is...
Hey, well, as you watch this, write it down. The exact same thing has been done to pump Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. The crypto media has the same group that gets talking points and runs with those talking points. It's the same thing. And CNBC's gets copied in on those talking points too.
This is a very sharp president.
And the people that I've talked to say he's as sharp as a tack. He's fine.
They say he's sharp.
He was sharp.
He's sharp as a tack. If I asked 100 people on the street, what do you think of Elon Musk? you'd have 100 different statements. There'd be a general theme, but you would not have even 50 people repeat the exact same words. And so you have this funny situation where 100 different people were basically saying the exact same talking point. So it's not even a point of view. It was just something that they were told to say by somebody else. And that, to your point, Sachs, is the real issue, which is that you don't really have an honest media here. And so there is no check and balance on power.
Well, let me do a little retweet here. Let's quote this. The crypto propaganda media does the same exact thing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now recently added Solana. That's the fact, Jack. And it just is. And everybody knows it. Okay. Then we've got this from Eleanor Terrett, former Solicitor General under Obama, Donald Verrilli, says regulators are deliberately debanking crypto. Despite the digital asset industry's pressing need for banking services, federal regulators have waged a concerted, coordinated campaign to debank crypto. So, meanwhile, we've got Mike Novogratz and Anthony Scaramucci who are running around saying, no, we need to just vote for Biden, vote for the same crew that's been running Operation Choke Point 2.0 because they promised that it'll be different. You know, it doesn't matter who's in office because they're going to pass legislation this year anyway. Now, what's the evidence of that? We don't have any evidence of that. Our evidence is that Senator Warren is continuing to drive her minions that she's placed in the White House while the supposed president of the United States goes to night-night early and craps his pants on stage. We don't even know who's running the country anymore. So why in the world would these guys, we got to look at track records. It's been over 3 years of them trying to crack down on crypto. Why in the world would we believe what Novogratz and Scaramucci are telling us? That is crazy. All right, in DAIXRP.com, we're going to talk about what I think, well, we know how corrupt, we know about the censorship that's been done, we know about how the corruption in general that's going on in this country. But the most corrupt part that I think the blockchain could solve would be fantastic, and that's what I'm going to talk about. What is the one thing I hope blockchain solves more than anything that would make everybody's life easier, we're going to talk about. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Let's talk about the number one thing I hope that this solves. But it's going to require getting rid of a lot of bad guys before we can do anything like this. Okay, here we go.